The Giver by Lois Lowry, Chapter 17. Today is declared an scheduled holiday. Jonas, his parents, and Lily all turned in surprise and looked at the wall speaker from which the announcement had come. It happened so rarely, and was such a treat for the entire community when it did. Adults were stemmed from the day's work. Children from school and training and volunteer hours. The substitute laborers, who would be given a different holiday, took over all the necessary tasks, nurturing, food delivery, and care of the old, and the community was free. Jonas cheered and put his homework folder down. He had been about to leave for school. School was less important to him now, and before much more time passed. His formal schooling would end, but still, for 12s, though they had begun their adult training, there were the endless list of rules to be memorized and the newest technology to be mastered. He wished his parent, sister, and Gabe a happy day, and rode down the bicycle path looking for Asher. He had not taken the pills now for 4 weeks. The stirring had returned, and he felt a little guilty and embarrassed about the pleasure dream that came to him as he slept. But he knew he couldn't go back to the world of no feeling that he had lived in so long. And his new high feelings permit a greater relief that simple his sleep. Though he knew what his failure to take the pills accounted for some of it, he thought that the feelings came also from the memories. Now he could see all of the colors. He who could keep them, too, so that trees and grass and bushes stay green in his vision. Gabriel's rosy cheek stayed pink, even when he slept, and apples were always red. Now, through the memories, he had seen ocean and mountain lake and a stream that grew through woods. And now he saw the familiar white river beside the path differently. He saw all of the light and color and history it contains and carried in its slow-moving water. And he knew that there was an elsewhere from which it came, and an elsewhere to which it was going. On this unexpected, casual holiday, he felt happy, as he always had on holidays, but with a deeper happiness than ever before, thinking, as always did, about precision of language. Jonas realized that it was a new depth of feelings that he was experiencing. Somehow, they were not all the same as feelings that every evening, in every willing, every citizen analyzed with endless talk. I feel angry because someone broke the play area rules, Lily said once, making a fist with her small hand to indicate her family, Jonas among them, had talked about the possible reason for rule breaking and the need of understanding and patience, until Lily's feet had relaxed and her anger was gone. But Lily had no feel anger. Jonas realized now, shallow impatience and exasperation, that it was all Lily had felt. He knew that we certainly because he knew what anger was. Now he had, in the memories, experiencing just and clearly, and he had reacted with rage that welled up so passionately inside him that he thought of discussing. It calmed me at the evening meal was unthinkable. I feel sad today. He had heard his mother say, and they had confirmed her. But now Jonas has experienced a real sadness. He had felt grief. He knew that there was no quick conform to emotion like those. These were deeper, and they did not need to be told. They were felt. Today, he felt happiness. Asher! He spied his friend's bicycle leaning against a tree at the edge of the playing field. Nearby, other bikes were straight about on the ground. On a holiday, the usual rules of order could be disagreed. He skidded to stop and dropped his own bike beside the other. "Hey, Ash!" he shouted, looking around. There seemed to be no one in the play area. "Where are you?" "Psh!" A child's voice, coming from behind a nearby bush, made a sound. "Pew, pew, pew." A female, 11, named Tanya, strode forward from where she had been hiding. Automatically, she clutched her stomach and strummed about in the zigzag pattern, groaning. "You got me," she called, and fell to the ground grinning. Blam! Jonas, standing on the side of the playing field, recognized Asher's voice. He saw his friend, aiming an imagined weapon in his hand, dart from behind one tree to other. "Blam! You are in my line of ambush, Jonas. Watch out!" Jonas stepped back. He moved behind Asher's bike and knelt so that he was out of sight. It was a game he had often played with the other children, a game of a good guys and bad guys, a harmless pastime that used up their contained energy and ended only when they all lay posed in freakish posture on the ground. He had never recognized it before as a game of war. "Attack!" They shoot came from behind the smaller storehouse where play equipment was kept. 3 children disappeared forward, their imaginary weapon in firing position. From the opposite side of the field came an opposing shout. "Counterattack!" From their hiding places, a horde of children. Jonas recognized Fiona in the group. Emerged, running in a crouched position, peering across the field. Several of them stopped, grazed their own shoulder and cheek with exaggerated gestures, and pretended to be hit. They dropped to the ground and they lay expressing giggles. Feelings surged within Jonas. He found himself walking forward into the field. "You're hit, Jonas," Asher yelled from behind the tree. "Pew! We're hit again." Jonas stood alone in the center of the field. Several of the children raised their heads and looked at him anxiously. The attacking armies slowed, emerged from their crouched position, and watched to see what he was doing. In his mind, Jonas saw again the face of the boy who had lain down on his field and had begun heaving from water. He had a sudden choking feeling, as if it were difficult to breathe. One of the children raised an imaginary rifle and made an attempt to destroy him with a frightened noise. "Shh!" Then they were all silent, standing awkwardly, and the only sound was the sound of Jonas' shuddering breaths. He was struggling not to cry. Gradually, when nothing happened, nothing changed. The children looked at each other nervously and went away. He heard the sounds as they ride their bicycles and began to ride down the path that led from the field. Only Asher and Fiona remained. "What's wrong, Jonas? It was only a game," Fiona said. "You're ruining it," Asher said in an irritated voice. "Don't play anymore," Jonas pleaded. "I'm the one who's trying for assistant recreational director," Asher pointed out angrily. "Games aren't your area of expertise." "Expertise," Jonas corrected him automatically. "Whatever. You can't say what we play, even if you are going to be the new receiver." Asher looked wearily at him. "I apologize for not paying you the respect you deserve," he moaned. "Asher," Jonas says. He was trying to speak carefully and with keenness to say exactly what he wanted to say. "You had no way of knowing this. I didn't know it myself until recently, but it's a cruel game. In the past, there have..." I said apologize, Jonas. Jonas sighed. It was no use. Of course. Asher couldn't understand. "I accept your apology, Asher," he said wearily. "Do you want to go for a ride along the river, Jonas?" Fiona asked, beating her lip without nervousness. Jonas looked at her. She was so lovely. For a fleeting instant he thought he would like nothing better than to ride peacefully along the river path, laughing and talking with his gentle female friend. But he knew that such time had been taken from him now. He shook his head. After a moment his two friends turned and went to their bikes. He watched as they rode away. Jonas dragged to the bench beside the storehouse and sat down, overwhelmed with feelings of loss. His childhood, his friendships, his carefree sense of security. All of those things seemed to be slipping away with his new high feeling. He was overwhelmed by sadness at the way that others had laughed and shouted, playing at war. But he knew that they couldn't not understand why. Without the memories, he felt such love for Asher and for Fiona, but they could not feel it back without the memories, and he could not give them those. Jonas knew with certainty that he couldn't change nothing. Back in their dwelling that evening, Lily chatted merrily about the wonderful holiday she had had, playing with her friends, having her midday meal out of doors, and she confessed snaking a very short ride on her father's bicycles. "I can't wait until my very own bicycle next month. Father is too big for me, I feel," she explained matter-of-factly. "Good thing, Gabe, wasn't it a child's seat?" "A very good thing," Mother agreed, frowning at the idea of it. Gabriel waved his arm at the mention of himself. He had begun to talk just the week before. The first step of a new child were always the occasion for celebration at the nurturing center, Father says, but also for the introduction of a disciplinary one. Now, Father brought the slender instrument home with him each night, in case Gabriel misbehaved. But he was a happy and easygoing toddler. Now he moved unsteadily across the room, laughing. "Guy," he cheered, "Guy." It was the way he said his own name. Jonas right. It had been a depressing day for him, after such a bright start, but he set his gloom notes aside. What about starting to teach Lily to rise so that she could speed off proudly after her ceremony of 9, which would be coming soon. It was hard to believe that it was almost December again, that almost a year had passed since he had come at 12. He smiled as we watched a new child plan one small foot carefully before the other, grinning with glee at his own steps as he tried them out. "I want to get to sleep early tonight," Father says. "Tomorrow's a busy day for me. The twins are being born tomorrow, and the test results show that they are identical. One for here, one for elsewhere. Lady Chen, one for here, one for else. Do you actually take it elsewhere, Father?" Jonas says. "No, I just have to make the selection. I weigh them, hand the large over the nurturers who is standing by me, waiting, and then I get the smaller one and clean up our coffee. Then I perform a small ceremony of relays and..." He glanced down, grinning at Gabriel. "Then I wave bye-bye," he said in a special sweet voice he used when he spoke to a new child. He waved his hand in a familiar gesture. Gabriel giggled and waved bye to him. "And somebody else comes to get him? Somebody from elsewhere?" "That's right," Jonas bonus. Jonas rolled his eye in embarrassment that his father had used the sly pet name. Lily was deep in doubt. What if they give the little twin a name elsewhere? A name like, maybe Jonathan. And there in our community at this naming, the twin hat we give her is given the name Jonathan. And then there would be 2 children with the same name. And they would look exactly the same. And someday, maybe when they were 6, one group of 6s would go to visit another community on a bus. And there in the other community, in the other group of 6s, would be a Jonathan who was exactly the same as the other Jonathan. And then maybe they would get mixed up and take the wrong Jonathan home. And maybe his parents wouldn't notice. And then she paused for a breath. "Lily," Mother said, "I have a wonderful idea. Maybe when you become a 12, they'll give you the assignment of a storyteller. I don't think we have a storyteller in the community for a long time. But if I were on the committee, I would definitely choose you for that job." Lily girl, "I have a better idea for one more history," she announced. "What if actually we were all twins and didn't know it? And so elsewhere there would be another Lily, another Jonas, another Father, another Asher, another chief elder, and another father grown." "Lily," he said, "it's time, Beth.